3 dishonest beauty brands that actually make semi-good, if not great, products. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing my opinion, unedited, unscripted, and just talk about some things that, well, are opinions, and I hope that some people disagree with me. The beauty industry can be shady, and I'm not talking about smoky eyes or palettes, but things can get a little bit interesting when it comes to CEOs making bad decisions, when it comes to social media takeovers, or even when it comes to trying to buy reviews. And in today's video, I want to talk about 3 of the brands and kind of what has happened behind them. And also recognize that even if they've done shady things, there are some good products. And I understand we're all human. We all make mistakes. I have made tons of mistakes myself. I don't think that should be held up against anybody. I just want to share. And I have 2 products in my hand, but trust me, there's a third one. The first I want to talk about is Sunday Riley. And as an acne sufferer, this hurts me bad. Sunday Riley is a very pricey skincare line that has some excellent ingredients. And a little while ago, they were leaked on Reddit, and some internal emails showing that they were trying to influence employees to fake reviews came out. Essentially, somebody up there, I don't know if it was the CEO directly or somebody else, was instructing employees on leaving fake reviews specifically for a product and talking about how it cleared their skin or how it cleared their acne. And it even went as far as to addressing VPNs. VPNs allow your server to be private. For instance, every computer has an IP address when you connect through a Wi-Fi or through a cellular network. And it's basically kind of like an address that you have on your house, it's on your computer. Well, VPNs protect you from that. For instance, Gmail and YouTube are outlawed in China, but if you have a VPN, you can get through. And so it's a way that, you know, companies or websites can't track you as easily, if at all. They were encouraging their employees to use VPNs to try to get through and post these comments so that multiple comments about the product didn't come up from the company's server and show that it was from the company. And this is just shady, obviously, for so many reasons, and unfortunately it creates further consumer distrust. For instance, when we look at reviews, can we actually trust them? It's been known for a while that on a company's own website they always filter through those reviews, but on a website like Sephora or like Ulta or a third-party retailer, we expect those to be non-biased. And unfortunately, the truth is that that's not always the case. And I know that Sephora has apologized and Sunday Riley has apologized, but it's just frustrating. And it's also like, if you have a product that works, let alone works so well, why do you need to fake reviews? You know what I mean? And I understand there can be discrepancies, especially for a new product. Maybe people don't know how to use it properly, or maybe people aren't reading directions. A lot of people don't read the packages on how to apply. They're applying them wrong and they get bad results. That is reason to be upset, but not reason to lie or fake reviews. It's reason to do education and to talk that through and then consider if you want to repackage or reformulate to make it easier for the customer, or if the formula is just so good to continue with it, and you know, to try to educate in a different way and make sure that people read those labels. It's just slimy. And then on a totally separate note, Sunday Riley has actually reached out to me about 4 times asking if I would like free product. And of course I'm like, yeah, that sounds great. Trust me, I'm not high and mighty. I can go out and buy my own product, which is what I damn well did. But it was just like, okay, you guys reached out 4 times asking for my address if I wanted product. I said yes. I told them that I was going to give an honest answer, and it just didn't come, which is totally fine. I'm so blessed that I'm even in a position to get that kind of an offer. And I ended up purchasing my own product because I kind of want to test the line and see if it's all BS or see if the ingredients are actually as good as the results. Problemo here is that it's like if I tell you, hey, we're gonna go out to dinner, hey, we're gonna go out to dinner, hey, we're gonna go out to dinner, I'm gonna pick you up at 7, yeah, give me the address, and then I bail on you 4 times. Okay, fine, it's a privilege that I was going to ask you to go out to dinner, but it's also like, that's kind of a bitch move, and it's kind of just like follow up on your promise, or say like, oh, I can't take you out anymore, sorry, I gotta go. And that's kind of how I felt. So I ended up buying products myself. I'm not above that. I do that all the time. It was just like, oh, follow through, no follow through, okay. And I was also wondering, like, is this the PR company? Is it Sunday Riley? Anyways, I am testing their products out, so I will try to do a review soon. The products are expensive, but again, if they're that good, why do you have to pay for reviews? Secondly, insert product here because I think I actually threw it away, Drunk Elephant. I did a video 6 months ago on 3 beauty products I was disappointed by, and I held up the Drunk Elephant Retro Moisturizer. And you should go watch that video because it's interesting. I don't want to say that I do or don't like the line as a whole. I think there's a lot more into that line than I have been able to explore. Again, I only have so much square space on my face to test things out and see what works. And I can only honestly test 12 to 13 products on my face per year. Chest and back are different, but the skin here is also different. And in order to maintain my integrity, I need to be able to test things out. And the past year has been a little bit off and on what I even can test because I have been using specific products for longer periods of time for certain reasons, which I should talk about sometime soon. Maybe we will. But when it comes to the Drunk Elephant, I had tried the Retro Moisturizer and even some of their other products such as the cleanser, which I understand it's a cleanser, and I think it was one of the serums. I just wasn't super impressed. And that's fine for me. It was like, oh, it works, but like there's nothing special about it. Like it just works. Skincare, I feel, should blow you away. It should make your skin way better than it was before or really, really enhance something. For me, the products that I used on my skin type, I just felt like, oh, they did what they were supposed to. Like, yeah, it moisturized, but it wasn't great. And I was like, for $70 for a bottle of this stuff, it better come out and like send little dancing carnival troops into my pores to do some flame throwing and like clean out the blackheads, right? So that is totally separate. But when it comes to Drunk Elephant, they actually did something very dishonest. And I don't know if it's a good or a bad thing because I think I have a little bit of a bias. So the Drunk Elephant, as we know, is expensive, but there are some brands out there that are more expensive, specifically SkinCeuticals, which is owned by L'Oreal. Now, in the past, the big brands owned everything. L'Oreal, Procter & Gamble, Johnson & Johnson, LVMH, they owned the beauty sphere. Nobody could penetrate it. Social media has given the consumer the power back. We vote with what we double tap and like, and we get to choose what we purchase or put our money into. And Drunk Elephant, being a private company, is really cutting into the sales of some of these big brands. And I don't know, as a consumer, I kind of like that. I was the underdog all my life when it came to acne and being a nerd and like not being like everybody else for multiple reasons. And I kind of side with the underdog in that way, which might be a little bit of a bias, but I think it's important for me to put out there. Well, SkinCeuticals has a $178 serum. It's a vitamin C, vitamin E from tocopherol, and then ferulic acid blend. It is amazing. It has won multiple awards, and it's because it's an amazing, actually stable form of vitamin C that actually penetrates the skin. Wonderful. As a cruelty-free person and as somebody who does not want to harm animals, I don't use it because SkinCeuticals is sold in China and allows animal testing to be done on their behalf, which is not cool with me. Well, this is very special because SkinCeuticals basically tried to own this blend, which, as we've spoken about, you're kind of allowed to do. There are something called patents, which in medicine or which in cosmetics allow you to own an idea. And this protects businesses. If I come up with a brand new way to make a hair clip so that it doesn't pull out your hair and it actually makes your hair grow longer or something, if I pay thousands, if not hundreds of $1,000s for a preliminary patent or a patent, I can protect that. Meaning this is my intellectual property, my IP. No one else can have it for 10 years or for however long that is. And it allows me to make this and to sell this without having somebody steal my idea. And especially when it comes to formulations or something like that, it is important. That's also why the big pharma companies can charge so much for pills, and then 10 years later we see them in other countries for generic names, but for 10 years they don't have that. So that's a little bit on the world of patents. Well, SkinCeuticals apparently had patented this vitamin C serum. And the reason that this is interesting is because when you launch a patent, you basically are giving everyone the ingredients and the process of which it takes to create this. You own it. Nobody else can steal it. Nobody else can use it. But you have made public your big ol' secrets. And, you know, I don't know how I feel about, I think patents are very beneficial in general. There are some industries that they need to be there. There are others where it's like, I don't know where this skirts the line of honesty versus protecting yourself versus having something open IP, open intellectual property for the benefit of the greater good. You know, especially in like health and medicine or coding, if that was open, everybody could learn and contribute to it. So how do I feel about that? Anyways, they had a patent, which means nobody else can steal this, right? Well, Drunk Elephant went by and they must have seen this or seen how well it works, and they decided to make one that was almost identical down to the ingredient, and it was half the price. And as a consumer who doesn't want to spend more money than I goddamn have to and who really, really likes cruelty-free products, that sounded awesome to me. But at the same time, they are stealing. So how do you feel about that? Technically, it is dishonest. I have a little bit of a bias as a consumer, so I don't know how I feel about that, but it is dishonest. But it's also a damn great product, and then it started taking over the awards that the SkinCeuticals one used to take over. Now the second part of this is a little bit sneaky, and it's what the founder has been saying on Instagram. Again, I don't know if it's the founder or someone in PR. This hasn't really blown up, but someone has receipts, and essentially the owner went by and started like bad-mouthing people. We've seen this happen multiple times before, and I know everybody has their bad days, but he, she, whoever was in control of that account basically said, I think that all skin should be treated the same. They should all be using the same products. Acne and rosacea, there's really no difference. And just like very uneducated things. And it's like, I understand you might not be, you know, someone who is an esthetician, or you might not be a dermatologist, or you might not be a healthcare provider, or you might not be a chemist. That's okay. You're still allowed to own a skincare line. But like, to make such statements that are not only unintelligent, but like blatantly misproven by both science and by consumers' personal experiences, like that just doesn't sit well. And you're like, if this person actually believes that, and if this is actually the CEO making those comments, like, I'm sorry, but are you dumb? Like, are you dumb? Are you really, really dumb? And it's like, it makes me wonder, like, was somebody else over this, like, control over this account because they were mean things and then they were just so wrong? And it's like, if you run a skincare line, you at least, I hope, need to know something about skincare just a little bit, right? So again, some dishonest or shady stuff, but they seem to make some great products. And again, I've tried about 3. I have not been impressed, but I probably have not given them the full time of day. So that's that. Now, very lastly, this one is hard for me, but it's also easy for me after what I found out. And maybe you saw this coming, maybe you didn't, but Kat Von D. And specifically, it's heartbreaking because I loved some of her products. I love the formulas, I love the liquid lipsticks, I loved the tattoo liner, the way it goes on, the way it dries. But after some of the things she said, it's just not something that I can personally support or back. And then even moreover, not just what she has said or stood for, but it's the lying and then the uninclusivity. And so let's just like rewind here because I really don't want to get into it. This has not, it's not 100% the anti-vaxxer, and it's not even 100% the discriminatory stuff, although for me those are 2 major things. So first let's talk anti-vax. When she came out about being anti-vax about her baby, everybody blew up on Instagram, rightfully so. I actually made a statement that said I understand. That came out super wrong because I do not understand anti-vaxxers. What I understand is the fear and the frustration. When you think about it, I'm afraid of getting sick. I'm afraid of infecting others. I'm afraid of having a world where infectious diseases spread. And that fear is very real to me. I'm afraid of people being unprotected. But from a mother's standpoint who is uneducated or doesn't read the research or doesn't know that even the original person who said that vaccines cause autism, you know, totally retracted that statement, that mother or that person also has a fear of becoming sick or having their child be sick. So I understand the fear. I just greatly disagree with the methodology. And when you look at science, like, just please read the science. So that's part of it because A, I can't really back that, but that doesn't make someone dishonest. That just kind of makes them misinformed. But the second thing was actually when she did her anti-vax apology, I learned about some of the discriminatory stuff, specifically when it comes to Semitics and Judaism. And this really hurt me as somebody who gets hurt and is empathetic. I I started to look into things when she mentioned like a fake signature, and if someone fakes your signature, what are you supposed to do? But then finding out more about her husband, you know, and then again, her husband has a tattoo of a swastika, but it's actually backwards. I've actually featured one in my India video because it used to be a symbol of peace before Hitler took it. This video is so gonna get demonetized. Anyways, so is that yes? Is that no? We can't really conclude. But then when I saw that she actually titled a lipstick a term that was used to oppress and hurt people, and she specifically used this spelling that was used in this disgusting and tragic and I don't have words for it. But these historical events, that really upset me. And to see that she didn't really take that down or explain that. I actually spoke to some of my friends who are Jewish. I do not identify as Jewish. I do not follow the Jewish religion. But I wanted to speak to some friends or speak to people in general, because I don't think that conversations like this should be unhad. And I am not to speak on how this hurts me because it is not directly directed towards me. You know, as someone who cares about other people and who cannot stand discrimination in any shape or form, it's upsetting. But I specifically spoke to other people who are more impacted by it than I am to understand their point of view. And I felt that that gives me a more rounded look at things so that I can actually see things from an objective perspective. And most people just kind of shrugged because they're not really in the beauty community, but some of them voiced to me that this was upsetting to them and that they would not support that line. And I really couldn't either. And even outside of these two horrible things, it's kind of like, here's the two bad things, right? Here's the two bad things, but it's the overarching theme and methodology of, I'm gonna lie about this, I'm gonna skirt around the truth, there are these weird things, there's this discrimination, and it's not being addressed. To me, that is dishonest. And even though you have great products, I've taken pictures with Kat Von D before, I've contemplated deleting them, it's just hard because I really used to like her as a person, and then I found these things out, and like, I'm sorry, but that is a reflection of the line. And so again, it's these overarching things that kind of make me feel uncomfortable. And then also with what happened with Jeffree Star, I didn't really want to take sides, and I felt it was very difficult that people were kind of put in like, are you team Jeffree or are you team Kat Von D? That hurt. Again, I've been following Jeffree since MySpace days. Plastic Surgery Slumber Party was like the anthem of my youth, and you know, those Hot Topic t-shirts with the muffins with the hypodermic needles in them really brought me a lot of creative freedom when I was like, God, 12, 13, right? And I didn't like that we had to like pick sides or that there was so much drama going on. But when you looked into it further, there were some lies from, I don't know, both sides, and that just made me feel a little bit uncomfortable. And then when all this other stuff about the anti-vaxxing and about the discrimination came out, it just kind of all started to build, right? So again, these are my unpopular opinions about her, but like, how do you feel about that? Could you support that? I don't know. But again, they're damn good products, and they are made, you know, by Sephora. I hope that Sephora uses some of the formulas and puts them in a different product so I can support something else. Yeah, but that's how I feel. Tell me what you think. Subscribe and hit the notification bell, and there's actually the video right here that talks about my views on the drunk elephant stuff. And here's another video on my unpopular opinions that you might find interesting. Love you, beautiful butterflies, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.